I'm right here.
All right, very good. Thanks.
There's a place right there called Why Not also.
Oh.
Yeah, Why Not 2. And Uber had me turn the corner.
So why not? And then why not 2?
Yep.
You know, I was actually at Metro
Got it.
getting my car.
I don't know why it picked up that corner then. Why it had me turn.
Yeah.
Oh well.
So now we know where we're going.
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess I wouldn't have expected Why Not and Why Not 2 to be
Next door to
50
each other.
feet from each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Using the right lane, turn right on East Brady Street.
You having a good day?
So far, great. Yeah, I live out to the west in a town called Pewaukee.
Oh.
So I started out there this morning, brought somebody in, a young lady who's going to Carroll University. She lives right around the corner.
Oh, okay.
So I dropped her off and your call came. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
In a quarter-mile, turn left on North Prospect Avenue.
Let's see, where could I park 2 giant trucks that would make it most inconvenient for people to drive by? I
On an
know.
already narrow.
Yeah, exactly.
street.
Let's go right to the throat, right where they
Yeah.
already narrow down and put one on either side. See what we can get away with.
Well, they're talking about making this street more pedestrian.
Yep.
You know, since there's so many businesses, and so I think that's a really good idea.
Yep, I agree. In Pewaukee, the east end of our lake
Turn
has
left
a
on
bit of
North
a
Prospect
shopping
Avenue.
restaurant area now that's kind of come up and is very popular. And when it's got events, they close off the long block along the lakefront.
Mm-hmm.
I've proposed and suggested from the beginning that they just close it off, make it, have removable
Mm-hmm.
bollards that you can let delivery trucks in
Mm-hmm.
at a certain time of day, or with a particular code or something, but real strict rules about
Mm-hmm.
entering and exiting. Otherwise, you park around the corner and walk across the bridge and come on over. They put some speed bumps in and slowed the speed limit down.
Mm.
But it's still a risky proposition in the summertime, especially because the beachfront is so popular.
Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with walking.
Yeah. Well, I lived in Madison, went to school there, and when I came back to Wisconsin, I lived in Detroit most recently, and came back and landed in Madison for a handful of years. Have you ever been to Madison?
Of course.
So,
I'm born and raised here.
so you know State Street.
Yes.
So that's
Another street.
effectively pedestrian only.
Mm-hmm.
Buses are the only motor vehicles, delivery vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the idea. I just think it's,
Yeah, they're much more nimble and progressive.
yeah.
You know,
I'd almost not allow buses on State Street.
Mm-hmm.
Put them on the parallel streets and make people walk a block to get off of State Street, and make it even
Mm-hmm.
less motor vehicle.
So what took you to Detroit?
Well, my career took me to the West Coast after college at the University of Wisconsin. So I ended up in California and was living out there most of my grown-up life. But I took a job with a startup watch-making company that also made bicycles. That's how I had earned my living.
Shinola?
Shinola, Detroit. So I was one of the first employees of Shinola Detroit. And so they brought me back from California, Northern California. Lived in Detroit, worked in the heart of the city, loved it, but retired, and my family are still here. So I had to choose. I almost stayed in Detroit. I owned a beautiful house and was pretty set on sticking around if I could figure out a way to make it work, but it was the right thing, certainly in hindsight, to come back. My mom really needs me here now. She's struggling with, as she ages. My dad passed a little while ago, and she's really having a hard go of it, so I stay with her now to lend a hand and keep her pointed forward.
You can always go back.
Yep. Well, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. So
I retired from the medical college in research.
okay.
And I was a dual employee in medical college and the VA. And one of my guys, his son helped start Shinola.
Who was your guy?
I can't remember the last name to save my life, but his first name was John.
Oh my God, that's my dad.
You know, I'm looking at your face and I'm thinking, my God, he looks like him. Oh my God! What? Oh my gosh! No way! What's your last name?
Backley.
Yes! He talked with a lisp.
Turn right on East
Oh
Bradford
my
Avenue,
God,
then turn
John.
left on Downer Avenue.
How did you know him? Was he when he was at the hospital?
Oh my God.
When he was at the hospital?
No, he was one of my study participants for Sprint. Do you remember him being in a blood pressure study?
I don't specifically, but I mean he did a lot. I didn't keep up on all of their medical stuff until it became necessary to be a part of it.
Oh my God, John.
Just ahead, drop off on the right.
Wow.
I'm gonna stop for a second.
Yeah.
So the VA took
Drop off on the right.
amazing care of my dad.
Yes.
So I don't know if you remember.
I didn't know him when he was sick.
Well, and he wasn't sick for any length of time. So what
Mhm.
happened was, he had kind of life kind of got tiresome for him. Right, he
Uh-huh.
was 82, and things just weren't exciting anymore. So did he talk about riding his bike?
Yes.
So I got him hooked on riding his bike. Oh my God.
Can you believe this? Oh, John.
And so
Let me just call the nail. I
Okay.
have 2 booked appointments, so they are going to wait for me.
So he had stopped riding and was sitting around the house pretty nonstop for a number of years.
Mm-hmm.
And he and my mom do you want to walk in and I want to hold you up?
No. This is important. There's no mistakes, John. Hi, this is Tina Johnson. I have back-to-back appointments with Viva. I'll be there in like 5 minutes. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.
So he sat around and just sort of faded. Right?
Yes, because that was not his personality.
No. So it started with a Friday event, and I remember it very, very well. Something happened. Mom called my sister. I was living in Madison at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And Donna called me from work and said, something's wrong. Dad fell. Mom had to get him up off the floor. He's up and around, but I'm going to need help. Can you come back? So I came back from Madison. So I ended up staying in Pewaukee with my sister for days. And Dad was clearly not 100%, but he seemed mostly there, mostly okay. He had aphasia a little bit and was not speaking clearly, forgetting like categories were troubling him. He meant to say week and he'd say month.
Yes.
A number of times. So, but he was speaking fairly well. His body all seemed to work pretty well. He had a little shaky shake in one hand, but nothing major. In fact, the day of the event, I brought him like a Culver's double cheeseburger, and he just scarfed it down.
Yeah.
So we stayed for the Friday, and then the next Friday, Mom called and said, "Dad's down. I can't get him up." Well, he had a major stroke. Fell. We got him up. My sister and brother-in-law came, put him in his recliner chair. We called Bella Ambulance. We had also called the VA. Everybody at the VA answered their phone or called us right back. They sent the hospice nurse out that day, and identified that he was in a really bad way. And I said, look, I don't want life-saving care. I just want transportation. So they said, we'll admit him into the ER. We'll get him into the hospital at the VA. Yes, do that. So Belle took him in. Had his DNR, community DNR put on his wrist. Got him into the hospital, and he was there for about a week. And the discussion of hospice care came up. And at the time, we weren't going to be able to get him into the 9th floor at the VA. But then a doctor who was in charge of hospice decisions came down, and he and I talked, and we were talking about the obvious end of life. And he said, look, if your dad is sitting in the room with us and won't stir, he's in a bad enough way that he should be on the 9th floor.
Okay.
And so we took him up to the 9th floor. So Friday, first minor stroke. Next Friday, major stroke into the hospital. The next Friday at the VA to the 9th floor, and on the Monday he passed.
Wow.
And
Way to go.
and it was so. I tell people, I say, look, Dad dying was the worst thing that could have happened, but the 100 other things that could have been awful, not one of them was bad. Everything went smoothly. The VA was so amazing. I mean, beyond outrageously supportive.
Well, let me tell you something. Your dad loved you. Your dad loved you. We saw him every 3 months, and he would always give me an update. And he, just like you showed your watch, he would always show his watch. You know,
I wear one of his watches now.
He was so proud of you. So proud.
What's your name?
Tina Johnson.
Who's Johnette?
My given that.
Okay.
My husband says my government name. My name is Jonae Valentina.
I'm gonna open the door. I'm coming out. I'm gonna give you a hug.
Yes.
We're hugging.
This is Dr.